Thank you, Professor Soyoung, for your kind introduction. Thank you for Korea Association of Cybersecurity Studies and the National Intelligence Service for kindly having me. Today I will discuss Australia and ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in the cyber domain, as an example of a middle power approach to statecraft. So I will start by saying what is Australia approach and why, as a middle power, Australia focus on the region that is around it, which is the Pacific Island, as well as Southeast Asia, in sharing and influencing in the cyber domain. And let me begin. First, I will come to the definition of the middle power. There are three theoretical perspectives to approach what does middle power mean. The first one is hierarchical approach, which categorize state measuring its objective capability, assertive position, and recognize status in the world. And it ranks states according to economic, military, social metrics, and currently cybersecurity power. That which one is greater and which one are not. The second one is functional. To what extent that middle power can assert its influence in international and political affairs in the world in specific areas based on their relative capabilities, interests, and degrees of involvement. And today we will look at cyber capacity. The third approach is behavioral approach, where a middle power country exhibit a certain type of foreign policy behavior. The first one is advocating for compromise and seeking for multilateral solution. This is because middle power understand that it cannot go alone. Different with major power that actually believe that they can do it alone. Middle power usually rallies and cooperates better with countries in the world because they know the strength comes in number. And for Australia, Australia sees increasingly wider cyber threats landscape with the Internet of Things and the turn of geopolitical situation, especially with the unchecked tension between China and the US, escalating in the gray zone conflict or hybrid threats that is in maritime influence operation, as well as in cyber security that influence the physical conflicts, such as the Taiwan Strait, the standoff in South China Sea, as well as we see the situation in the Korean Peninsula that we're currently is sitting here. And it is quite critical and most challenging and complex, the cyberspace, where we have not only the target that's government installation and military critical infrastructure, but also private entities, banking, energies companies, university database, as Australian university database have experienced several hacking issues and leaking of personal information. As well as distributed denial of service attack that cripple financial institution as well as telecommunication service, such as Optus hacking in Australia. As such, Australian government actually really aware of the condition in the Asia Pacific, where it has become the most targeted region in the world, accounting for 25% of incident. That is after Europe, 31%, and North America, 27%. This data, actually a report from 2023, but I type it wrong, it's 2020, but it's actually 2023, whereby it's actually shown how the targeted areas are manufacturer, finance, and professional service. So having that threat report actually compelled Australia to issue Australia's cybersecurity strategy 2023 to 2030, where it actually would like to become one of the leaders in the world in the cyberspace. And it does so by having investing the money to where it wants. This cybersecurity strategy actually having the budget over almost 600 million Australian dollar. This is on top of its existing Australian government 2.3 billion budget on existing cyber initiative under Red Spice, whereby the government actually provides not only protection to its citizen and business, but also providing offensive cyber capability that from this current until next year will be implemented by the Australia Signal Directorate and Australian Police Force. So the country would have offensive cyber capabilities. So Australia is open to announce to the world that it have offensive cyber capabilities, but it use it only as a force of good. For example, it's open to say that when addressing the ISIS terrorists, it use cyber operation to do so. So this vision is focused on 6 layers. The first is strong business and citizen, safe technology that Australia have incorporated its international standard as its own, world-class threat sharing and blocking, using that program that I mentioned, implemented by the Australian Signal Directorate and the Police Force. Protected critical infrastructure by renewing its law on critical infrastructure, sovereign capabilities of domestic cybersecurities, and the last one is resilient region and global leadership by working together with countries in the region to create an open and safe cyberspace. So when a country would like to have a strong cyber capacity, it has to be able to invest money where it needed. So with the amount listed there, the amount is actually been useful because, for example, the cyber rapid teams actually deployed August this year to address the Pacific Island Forum hacking. Australia is part of the Pacific Island Forum Association, where the headquarters was under cyber attack by China. And the cyber rapid team was deployed to actually investigate, and currently the investigation is happening. But however, we know that the countries in the region, the Pacific Island, are quite fragile because they were under Chinese influence, so they are unable to say that the incident is coming from China, and therefore they're quite worried to conduct attribution. But as Australia are quite open, I think the ABC, Australian Broadcasting Company, already announced the attack, and the investigation is ongoing. The third point is the partnership with Southeast Asia, which I will explore more, where Australia invests 4.5 million to enhance cyber defense with Southeast Asian partners. And I will share why Southeast Asia is a target for Australia. Because as a middle power is usually a major power in its region. And for Australia, it is already a major power in the Pacific Island because Australia is one of the biggest countries in Pacific Island. Meanwhile, in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia, Australia is a neighbor and a dialogue partner. And we see from the ambition of Australia as a middle power, it would like to be a regional and global leader to influence a regional forum of the ASEAN Regional Forum and Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. It does so by providing capacity building program and help in the incident response team. Australia also does that following the law that perhaps my colleague from Queensland University will explore later on the international law on how Australia can pursue its role as a middle power because it knows that it cannot do alone. So why is Southeast Asia important for Australia? Because the capability and capacity in Southeast Asia are very varied. There are countries that has well-established cyber power, such as Malaysia, Singapore. Meanwhile, we see also countries with very limited cyber readiness, such as Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. And we know Myanmar currently is having an internal conflict, and it hosts, along with Cambodia, a cyber scam compound, whereby many of Australian has been the target of that cyber and information operation using several countries in Southeast Asia as proxy. As such, Australia is committed to put money where the demand is, and ASEAN countries say that to come to Australia. Can you help us with capacity building and help us to establish ASEAN CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team? It's already established this year, but it will be start to operate probably end of this year or starting of next year. So I think I only have a limited time. Okay, so maybe I will go, because you already have the slides in your proceeding. I would close by what does Australia wants in Indo-Pacific. Australia wants that everybody play according to the norm, and the norm is set by the UN Progress of Open-Ended Working Group and Group of Government Expert on Cyber Norm. And regionally, through ASEAN, Australia is working together with the regional organization to set the standard for countries in ASEAN to actually able to implement its cybersecurity. We see how does this country would like to be brought up by Australia Middle Power Cyber Resilience through creating more permanent forums, and we also bring ASEAN country to the table, including by this year, having Australia and ASEAN special summit to actually talk about enhancing agreement on intelligence sharing. That's for my presentation. Thank you so much.